Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 1040 and Doubleshot number 934. I got two trades of two books I really wanted to review. First up is a really thick one. This is The Batman Who Laughs. Yes, that's him on the cover. Created by Scott Snyder, James Sam IV, and Greg Capullo. No, Greg Capullo does not do the artwork in here. Nope, it's done by Jock, the same guy who worked with Snyder on the Black Mirror storyline. This collects the 7-issue miniseries. I initially heard this was going to be 6, but it turned to 7. My guess is because of the fact this was selling so well. DC is like, okay, why don't we just take issue 6 and split it in half for 6 because this is really good. And plus we have the Grim Knight one-shot here, also by Snyder. Of course, that was done by James Tiff. The whole series is just mainly Scott Snyder and Jock who does the writing artwork. This is kind of a loose follow-up to Dark Knight Metal, in the fact we have the main antagonist of that particular storyline, the Batman Who Laughs, being the titular character in here. But here's the thing, he's the main villain of the series. Yes, that's the thing of the Batman Who Laughs in this particular one. He is the main villain. The main character, of course, is Batman, because obviously he is. And the big story with this one is the Batman Who Laughs comes to Gotham City, the one for the current universe, Earth Zero, otherwise known as Prime Earth, for the first time, despite the fact he has been to Gotham City many times in multiple universes. I don't think he's ever been this one, but here's some cool things about this one. You have him meeting Commissioner Gordon, the Penguin, and the Joker. Yes, the Joker, the person who on his Earth is responsible for basically making him like this. I also gotta appreciate though Jock remembers the fact that, yeah, the Batman Who Laughs is missing 2 fingers. There's a reason for that. Because in Dark Knight's Metal, during the final issue, when Batman was beating the crap out of him, we had Joker coming, and he cut off 2 over the man Batman Who Laughs' fingers. Yes. Now, the whole point of this one was about spreading infection. Of course, Batman does wear a visor like this throughout halfway through the story. Yeah, and apparently the Joker has got the original toxin, his original Joker gas formula, in his heart for some reason. I'm like, when the heck did this happen? And we also have this thing called the Last Laugh, which is a protocol basically supposed to protect Gotham City. Which, my only guess is Snyder named this particular thing after the crossover event Joker's Last Laugh, which was a miniseries event done by Chuck Dixon, which is by far the only crossover he's ever done for DC. Despite the fact, company-wide when he's been working somewhere for Batman. We also have James Gordon Jr. show up in here, yes. Making his first appearance since Suicide Squad, yeah. And here's the thing, he's out of prison and he's taking pills for a program to keep his killer instincts, let's just say, under control. And apparently, when he was a killer, he was a genius. Yes, he was a freaking genius. And Batman does eventually get, he gets infected with the Joker gas. He does have to put on this visor to keep himself under control. And at one point, he had to take, a bunch of antitoxins to keep himself under control. And eventually reveal at the end of the story that Commissioner Gordon has been affected with this stuff somehow. So that's explored in Batman Superman by Josh Williamson. You're curious, somebody should be curious though, okay, what about the Grim Knight? The Grim Knight is simply another Batman from the Dark Multiverse where he uses guns. He's a killer. And he's basically sort of a subordinate of the Batman Who Laughs. And also, there's another really neat thing with this crossover, is that this guy is bringing also versions of Bruce Wayne. Yes. A whole bunch of them. Which, I'm sure that probably Commissioner was like, okay, why are we finding a bunch of dead Bruce Waynes all over the damn city? Also, at one point, we have Batman dressing up as not only Matches Malone, and Harvey Bullock. I get Matches Malone because that's a frequent disguise of his, but Harvey Bullock? The overweight detective who was one of the most popular recurring characters in Batman books since the 80s? Why him? It makes no sense. Yep. But this overall is a fantastic story. I love it. And it's good the fact that we get a follow-up in the Batman Superman series by Josh Williamson. That's pretty much what this whole series is setting up. And no, Snyder himself doesn't write it. It's all Williamson. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Really good. Plus, this book has a Batman Who Laughs thing by Greg Capullo, the guy who basically designed him. Now move on to another thing I wanted to talk about. We have Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine. We have Cyclops Wolverine, Volume 1. This collects issues 11 to 16 of Uncanny X-Men, Volume 5. Yes, written by Matthew Rosberg. Yeah, he's by himself now. No longer with Kelly Thompson or Ed Bronson. Yeah, that's how I pronounce the guy's name. Mike Perkins told me how to say it. We have Salvador Roca does the artwork, which his artwork is better here than in Star Wars. His artwork in Star Wars was other garbage. This book is a lot better. When he's doing fictional characters like this is where his artwork strives in. And here's the thing about this particular book. It follows up with several things Rosberg was involved with. It follows up with Disassembled, Uncanny X-Men Disassembled. It also follows up with the Astonishing X-Men series, which was the last few issues done by Rosberg, and the New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries, which really good the fact he follows up with that. Yep, basically, X-Men are gone, so Cyclops has been resurrected. In case you're wondering, how the heck this guy come back despite the fact he's been dead? At the time he came back, which is when this came out last year, he'd been dead for 3 years. How did the heck come back? Is explained in the X-Men Annual, which is actually not in this trade. Nope, it's not here. I have no idea why Marvel didn't put it in here, despite the fact when it came out right after issue 10. Yeah, when the annual came out last year, it came between issues 10 and 11. As for why it's not included here, I have no idea. Also, this run is really short. It's only 12 issues. Yes, Rosberg by himself only does book for 12 issues, so I think he does write technically all 22 issues in the annual. It's a pretty short run by himself. So, Cyclops Wolverine put together their own roster. Mainly consists of whoever appeared in the Mutant series. They have Strong, I turned to a set note here. We also have Havoc, Multiple Man. We also have Banshee and Hope, who apparently form a new version of the Mutant Liberation Front, which I thought was a little weird. The thing with issue 11 is it's a double-sided issue, and it features the death of Blindfold, which I spoke to Rosenberg about that, and he didn't give me a clear explanation of why he killed off this character for. I mean, here's the thing about Blindfold. She had not been a relevant X-Men stories since the X-Men Legacy series by Cy Spirit ended back in 2014. She had been relevant for 4 years. She's mostly relegated to a background character. Yes. So now somehow we have a focus on her, despite the fact we haven't focused on her quite some time. And you want how this book is also follow up. Now, how is it follow up to the other books like I mentioned? One thing takes place right after the events of X-Men Disassembled. In the case of the X-Men, the villain from that series, the general General Callan, I think his name is, the guy who's in charge of One. Yeah, he is basically the main villain of the storyline. Yeah, he's pretty much one hunting the X-Men the whole storyline. And we also have Magic, which I'm so happy that she and I could take us to other dimensional with the rest of the X-Men. And apparently we have Magneto pop up in here along with New Brotherhood, which consists of a new Avalanche and Pyro. These are not the original guys because both these two guys are dead. Yes, the original Pyro died thanks to the storyline. He got killed by the Legacy virus. And what about Avalanche? Avalanche fell off a cliff in the first issue of Uncanny Avengers. He was brainwashed by the Red Skull. We also have a member of the Marauders pop up. Believe it remember the Marauders. We also have Toad and the frickin' Juggernaut part of this version of the Brotherhood. Who's leading this team? Joseph, the clone of Magneto. Yes, Joseph. Yes, also Banshee is still doing the whole old man thing that he was. As for how in the world they got Death Seed out of him, not even Rosberg bothered to explain either in Astonishing X-Men or this book. Or why in the world he and Hope decided to reform the Mutant Liberation Front. We also have appearances by the Purifiers, the Stephen League, which was a recurring group of villains, which are big in the group. The first period of pages X-Force, which, yeah. And of course, you have Wolverine helps him out. And then when you get these costumes, like, I think what's happening, like, do you know what year it is? Okay, so they have Cyclops wear his 90s costume, which everybody loved. This is the most familiar costume they have for. This is a costume designed by Jim Lee. We have Wolverine, his ugly yellow and brown costume. I know my friend Andrew Shelton, he loves this particular costume for Wolverine. I am not a big fan of this costume. We also have Multiple Man. Yeah, and the New Mutants are apparently affected by this technovirus. Yeah, it's later revealed to be not a technovirus. It was a parasite. Also, you have Dark Beast in here, who apparently has got spider legs now. That's never explained how the heck that managed to be. In case you're wondering, like, okay, weren't these two previously killed off previously? Yes. Well, when I was talking to Shoal about when Wolverine returned last year, when I met him at Comic-Con last year, actually about 2 years ago he came back. He was surprised. Now, he kind of knew that he was going to come back. He was surprised at how long they kept him dead for, which he said about 4 years, which that's kind of true. Cyclops was dead for, like, he'd been dead since 2015. He'd been dead for about 3 years. So, yeah, two people previously, like, there's frequent jokes about, basically, about, weren't you dead? They do it for Cyclops. Not much. They do it a few times for Wolverine. Mostly for Cyclops. Mainly because he had more public death than Wolverine did. Yep. This overall is one fantastic story, and I can't wait for the next book to come out. Yeah, this one's really sure it's only 12 issues. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Really, really good. Yep. Oh, yeah, and how they find Havoc in here? Yeah, they find a lot of the members, like, apparently they kept this in prison run by one. Yeah, the organization was formed after the events of House of M, when a lot of mutants got depowered, and they kind of basically make a remark that the Xavier and Sue was turned to a concentration camp. That was not actually true. I'm not sure where Rosberg got the idea for that. Where, yes, they're kind of like under protective house arrest. That's what they were. And they kind of went through the whole thing of like human pilots for the Sentinels. That was like that for like over a year until the events of Messiah Complex, when the Sentinels basically were destroyed because they were taken by a virus related to the stuff related to Messiah Complex. Yep. But it's overall really good. Alright? Now, next review, which will come next review today will be a review of more episodes of Cardcaptor Sakura. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I forgot here. No, well, there was that one point where Wolverine nearly kills Hope. I was not particularly very happy with that. Yeah, why the heck would he try to kill... I don't know why. Now, here's the thing. Now, there was a few other things I didn't like about this particular thing. Aside from some writing about one. Wolverine killing a teenager who tried to shoot him. Could have easily calmed her down, but nope. Tried to basically kill her. Basically nearly tore her to shreds. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the reason why she formed a relationship because of Cable's death. Of course, they do have it where they have the young Cable show up during Extermination, who was a character created by created by Ed Bronson. Yeah, he created this character because of Extermination. Yeah, but lucky enough that Hope does survive, and all the rest members meet Liberation, but basically. Also, Captain America subs in here as well. Like, all the rest of them except for Hope and Banshee get turned over to Captain America because we'll always work on the Avengers at this point. But yeah, not much else to say about this. But in case you're wondering, do the rest of the X-Men come back? The regular ones, the one who appeared in the next December. Do they return at the end of this run? Oh, yes, they do. We get more thoughts on that whenever Volume 2 comes out for this, okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I have roughly about 2, maybe 3 more videos coming today, and I'll be reviewing Cardcaptor Sakura, okay? Do see you next view. Bye.